just waiting for a few more participants to join, and we'll be starting very soon. Very excited to have all of you over here.
Test. Yeah, working.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. Very excited to have all of you over here. It would be amazing if you guys could just give me a brief introduction in the chat to get us started. I'm just waiting for a few more participants to join.
I see that some of our participants have raised their hands in the chat. Do you guys need help with anything? Is it, are we audible to you? You can connect to the audio via your computer. You will see the icon on the bottom left panel. Join with audio.
Yes, and I hope everyone is able to use the chat feature. So if you guys have any problems with the audio also, you can just write over there. Let me put it for the people who are not able to hear us probably. Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. Very excited to have all of you over here. We'll be starting in the exact 5 minutes. We're just waiting for a few more participants to join. In the meantime, I'm just sharing some of our links to the social media handles. You guys can check them out and I'm also putting link to our YouTube channel. You guys can actually subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos. We create tutorials on a lot of tools which can be helpful for the teachers. So you can check that out. If you guys would like to know about our next sessions, please go to our YouTube, our social media handles. We put all the updates over there very regularly. At the same time, I'm also going to put up the link to sign up for our upcoming classes. In that itself, you can find the link for the classes that we are planning for the next week. Even on our website, we update it quite frequently, and you can find out all the next sessions that we are having. A very good afternoon to everyone. I'm really excited about today's session and I'm loving the introductions in the chat. I'll encourage everyone else to also introduce themselves in the chat. I'll reshare the YouTube channel link over here so that you guys can go and see it. I would recommend you to subscribe to it so that you can get a notification anytime anything new is uploaded and you will see it in your newsfeed also. We do send email regular email invites also. For that, you can give me your email ID here itself, or you can send it to me privately, and we'll be sharing all our mailers with you as
I think, Advi, we need to announce it in the chat once again, how to join via audio. I think some of our participants are having.
Sure. So, okay, let me just write it in the chat. Hello everyone for joining us today. If you guys are facing any challenges, please let me know in the chat box. I'm here to help you out. Some of the teachers have lowered their hands. If they can write it in the chat box, that would be great. I'm going to address all the issues in the chat itself. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Very excited. We'll be starting in next 30 seconds. All right, so it is 3 o'clock. Welcome everyone to our session on Google Classroom today. Very excited to have all of you over here. So to just get us started, I'll introduce myself and our speaker for the day. So I'm Kanvi Goyal and I work with Teacher Class as a program manager. I've worked with teachers from Mumbai, Pune, and I've worked with them for more than a year now. And I was supporting them for our scholarship program in the last 1 year. Today's your speaker is Raisa Dalvi, and she'll be taking you through Google Classroom today. Before we get started, I would also like to take you guys through our website so that you are just familiar with our platform and can explore it by yourself. So just give me a second to share my screen. I hope you can see my screen. This is our teacher class website, which is teacher class ORG. You go and find that doing here. So let me just, so if you click on that, you can actually look at all the data we're having and the of those classes. So this is one of our previous class that we had on Google Classroom. We'll be updating this very. You can follow us on our social media handle also to get all the updates. I can also, I would also like to take you through our tool repository, which is this over here at the top itself. And when you click on that, you can see all the tutorials that we have created, and you can see all the reviews that we have put up. So we have categorized the tools that are available for teachers into basic tools, some are professional development tools, and some are virtual classroom tools. So if you click on them, what you'll find is a basic introduction of the different tools that are available for teachers, and we have these reviews together after a thorough research, and we have also just written very simply so that teachers are able to understand everything. Over here, you can see some basic details, if they are free or not. So you can check out all of those details over here. If you would like to register, yes. So thank you for joining us today, and I hope you have some understanding of our website as well. Before we go further, I'll just like to take you through a few norms for this class. Just give me a second. Yeah. So I'll just like to inform you that we are going to be recording this session. So that we are able to share that recording with other teachers and principal who unfortunately are not able to join us today. Post this session, we'll be also sending you a feedback. Please take a minute to fill it. It will be very valuable for us to hear from you, and we would like to improve our classes going further. During this class, please keep yourself on mute. I would like to speak something, then you can unmute yourself, but I would strongly recommend to use a chat window for any kind of concern that you have. During this entire session, I'll be your moderator, which means that any concerns that you have, I'll be in the chat window to address all of them. The format of this class is going to be that Raisa will basically be showing you one part of Google Classroom, and then she is going to pause where I'll be posing all the questions that you guys have asked. So for you guys, just don't hold on to your questions. Keep writing them in the chat window. I'll keep collecting them and pose them to Raisa whenever she decides to take a pause. And we will make sure that we are pausing every couple of minutes so that all your doubts get addressed during the session itself. I hope this clarifies everything as of now. I would, before Raisa starts her lesson, I would also like to conduct a very small poll, which which I'll be launching right now. If you guys can just take a minute to select your option, you must be seeing one box on your screen which says that at this point, how comfortable are you with Google Classroom? Please feel free to write very honest responses. It just gives us some understanding of the teacher ecosystem. at all. I'm very excited to see the healthy participation that we are having in the poll. If you guys have just joined us, please take a second to just to answer the poll that's on your screen. You might be able to see the question that is at this point, how comfortable are you with Google Classroom? Just select the correct option. Please feel free to be very, very honest over here. All right. So I see that most of you have responded. I'll just keep this poll open for the next 10 seconds. All right. So I see most of you have responded. So I'm going to just end this poll right now. Going forward, Raisa is going to take you guys through the rest of the session. All the best, Raisa. Looking forward to the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kanvi, for keeping our audiences engaged. And that introduction to teacher class. Welcome everyone to Learn with Teacher class. In today's session, we will be covering Google Classroom. This is the beginner class covering all the basics you need for getting started with Google Classroom. If you have attended the session with us last week, if this is your first Google Classroom session, let me share a little learning that I have developed. Whenever we learn some new tool or application or website, it may seem complicated, but as you continue using it, it will get easier. It will be the same for any tool that you pick up, right? Whenever you're trying out something for the first time, it seems a little complicated. But don't worry, I will make Google Classroom as simple as I can for all of y'all out there. The objective of this class is that by the end of this class, you'll be confident to get started with your own classes on Google Classroom. Now, I will urge each one of y'all after the session to make your own Google Classroom just so that you start practicing with it, and you can share your learnings or any questions that you have on our social media channels. Kanvi will share the links with you in the chat box. You can also write to us on our WhatsApp number, which also I will ask Kanvi to put in the chat box. You can write to us on our email address, that is info@teacherclass.org. All of these links you can find in the chat box. Always you can write to us with whatever questions you have. You can also add us as your student in the Google Classroom. We will be delighted to see how you've applied what you've learned from this session today. So let's get started. Just a reminder before I begin that this is the beginner's class. So we will be covering how to get started with Google Classroom with your Gmail account. That is the free account. We will not be doing this from an EDU or an ORG account just because most of our teachers do not have access to Google Suite for Education or Enterprise. That's why we have selected Gmail, the free version today. You will be able to create your first classroom and many other classes on the same Google Classroom platform. And we will explore some features of Google Classroom. So we will be covering the advanced features, but not in this session today. We will conduct a Google Classroom Part 2 session very, very soon. You can follow our social media channels for regular updates. You can also follow our website regularly to check when that's happening. All right, so let's get started now. So Google Classroom, I'll just switch my screen to show you how we can start with Google Classroom. So there are two ways to begin Google Classroom. If you can see, this is my Gmail account. And on the top right corner over here, we have the Google application. I'm simply going to click Google application, and it gives me a list of all the applications that are available to me for free of cost by Google. Now, this is the Gmail free account. So these are the apps that are available for us. Here, I will look for Google Classroom, which is right here, and I'll simply click it. That opens up my Google Classroom. It will ask me for my email address. I will simply continue. And there we are right inside Google Classroom. Now, before I show you another way to join Google Classroom, I would like to tell you a little bit about Google Classroom and how it works. Now, Google Classroom is a great platform for your virtual or your online teaching with your students. But how it works is that you don't see your students live in front of you. Correct? It is a platform where you can post your classwork, your assignments, your notes, reading material, your videos, etc. And the students will be able to access all of this whenever they log into Google Classroom on their own. Correct? So it isn't a live interaction. It is a live interaction, but it depends heavily on when the students log into Google Classroom. Now, I'll give you an example for you to understand this a little better. Many of us use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. Right? So whenever we post a post on it, it goes live to your social media, correct? So similarly, when a teacher will post a post, it will go live onto the classroom. Now your followers or your friends on Facebook will be able to see your post only when they log in. So similarly, when the students log in, they'll be able to see all their classwork. So it works kind of like that. Okay, now let me show you another way to get onto Google Classroom. Right. So another way to get onto Google Classroom is by just simply going over to another tab over here. And I'll simply type classroom.google.com and press enter. And here I'm inside Google Classroom. Uh, Many of y'all must be having this. If I don't have a laptop, how do I access Google Classroom? Now, on the mobile phone, the Google Classroom platform looks very similar. You will either have to download an app from the Play Store, which is Google Classroom app. Simply type Google Classroom and you'll be able to find it. Or you can go to your mobile browser and type classroom.google.com, and that will also open up your Google Classroom. All right, now we have gone over how to get started. Let's go on to creating your first class, and this is quite exciting. I'll just take a pause for a minute. Kanvi,
Yes. Yes, yes. Go ahead, Raisa.
okay, Kanvi, I am unable to see the tab on top.
Um, okay.
Just give us a
It's
moment to
exactly.
troubleshoot this.
Which tab are you looking for? Please give us just a minute to solve this. Uh,
Okay, I think we have it.
Raisa, are you done? Uh,
In the meantime, I think I can share the results of the poll. while we try to fix.
And also, we are recording this session, so don't worry about recording right now. We anyway put up all the recordings on our YouTube channel, so don't worry about recording. Just try to learn in this class.
All right, I think we are ready to begin. Okay, so let's start with creating our first class. So as you can see, this arrow that is pointing us to this plus icon, which is create or join your first class. So since we are teachers and we're going to be creating a classroom, we'll simply click create class. Now it's going to give you a prompt about Google Suite for Education, and it's going to give you some updates regarding that. You can take your time to read about it and simply click I've read and understood and continue. Now here is where you will need to create your classroom. For the class name, I like to give the class name something that is easily identifiable for my students, just so that if there are multiple classrooms that a student is going into, they know which class it is. In my section, I'm simply going to write my class and the section and subject. Once I start typing, it will give me an automated response for the subject, and I will create. And that's how simple it was to create my first class. There. So when you join in for the first time, Google tries to help you out a lot with these prompts. I'm also joining in for the first time to show you guys, so I can see all of these prompts. But right now, let's not go over this because I'm going to be explaining all of this in detail in this class. All right, now that we have started a class, the next important thing is obviously to start joining our students onto this class. So how do we do that? There are two ways to do that. One, if you see that there are 4 tabs on the top panel over here. Okay, over here, I'll simply scroll over to the people tab and click it. Here you can see that you have an option of teachers as well as students. So I can add my students using their email address over here and simply invite them. For example, I have a student and I can invite. Over here, you'll be able to see a list of all your students that are a part of the class. You can also remove your students from here. If you think that some students have joined and you don't want them in the classroom, some students from another class have joined, so you can simply go over to action and remove. Now I'll show you another way through which your students will be able to see, will be able to join this class. That is, when I go over to my stream tab, there's a class code that has been provided by Google. So if I enlarge it, this is the class code that will be displayed to me. I can simply share this class code on my WhatsApp groups or via text message to my student. They will have to come onto the Google Classroom using this code. Let me show you how. So when a student logs into classroom.google.com, they will also get a similar screen. When they click the plus icon over here, there are 2 options that they have. They can either create a class or join a class. So when they join a class, here it will give you an option to add the class code. Here they will simply feed in the class code that you have provided to them and enter. So that's how your students will join in. Now, I know a lot of y'all must be having questions like, do our students need a Gmail account to log into Google Classroom? The answer to that is yes. Students compulsorily need a Gmail account to log into Google Classroom. Do they need to download the app? Because a lot of our students' smartphones are outdated and they do not have much space in it. they do not need to download the app, but it is obviously preferred to have the application. Even if they don't have the application, they can go onto their mobile browser, simply click classroom.google.com and get into the classroom. Now, I've also shown you how to remove students who have been accidentally added to your class. Another question that a lot of teachers may have is, can students add other students? The answer is, to your classroom, no. But unless a student has shared the link of your class or the code of your class with another student, there is a chance that this may happen. So don't worry,
Uh,
even if students get added, you can always remove it. Since you are the teacher, you have the right to go in the people tab and simply choose the student that you are working on and remove. All right, now I'll show you how to add multiple classes if you're teaching either many grades or many sections. So see that right now I'm teaching science to 7th A. I'm also teaching science to my 10th grade class. So I can simply go over to my classes by clicking these three lines on the left top corner. Go over to my classes. Once again, click this plus icon and create class. It will always give you this prompt whenever you have to create a class. I recommend you to read it carefully. Click that you understand and continue. Once again, I'll be typing in the name, the section, and B. I can also add this here. Once again, science and create. Now that has created my science class. Once again, if you have to invite your students, simply click the class code. It generates a unique class code for a unique class. So if you have 5 different classes, you'll have 5 different codes. So for Ms. Sharma science class 10th grade, this is the code. Now, if you have to access all your classes, you have to click here on this top left corner and go over to classes. Now you can see all the classes are going to appear over here as a list. If you have many more classes, they will all appear over here. Now, if you see, both of your classes have a similar purple colored theme. Now, just for the sake of identification for me as a teacher, I would like to change the theme of it. So I'll go over to my 10th B class and I'll show you how to change the theme of this class. Now, the theme doesn't serve any larger purpose, but it is just a nice way. It's a nice sort of a graphic for your students to see, and it's just something pleasant for our students and making the platform user friendly for our students. So I can simply click select theme over here. Since this is a science subject that I'm teaching, I'll go over to science. And if you can see, there are ready-made templates. I'll click one of them and I'll select. And there it simply changed my theme. Now let me just give you a note over here. If you're using Google Classroom for from your mobile, then you will not be able to change your theme over there. This is a feature that's available only on your laptop. Now, if you have a class photo, you can also upload that as your theme. Your students will really like to have a personalized, customized class online. All right, let me just go over to the classes tab. And here now you can see I can easily identify both of my classes. My 10th B is a green color and my 7th A is a purple color. All right, we are going to pause for some questions right now before we go ahead.
Sure. So we have a lot of questions. I think one major question that that was that if the students need IDs for this. So I think which you have already addressed that students
Yeah.
do need IDs to go forward. People are asking that I think so. Teachers, some of the questions are which Raisa will be addressing going forward. So the questions like how can you create a classroom or how can you share a presentation? How many videos can you share? how can you share documents on Google Classrooms. Raisa is planning to cover those in the forthcoming segments. Also, questions around if you can take live classes on Google Classroom or not will be covered in Raisa's forthcoming segments. She'll be also talking about if you are able to see students, how you are able to see students or not. She will be covering that. If you guys want her to repeat any of the steps, I would recommend you to go to our YouTube channel, and over there we have created tutorials for each and every step. So don't worry about missing any step right now. Just follow with Raisa. You can go back to YouTube later and just fill up whichever step you have missed. So please don't worry about missing any steps at this point. uh, One teacher also asked about if they can make their own lessons in Google Classrooms. I think once Raisa has shared how to assign classwork to students, I think that question will get covered as well. If it still doesn't get covered, please feel free to write about it again. Even I'll see to it. If it doesn't get addressed, I'll pose it to Raisa. Raisa, somebody asked that if they have 3 classes, do they need to make 3 classes, or how does that work?
Okay, so if you're teaching 7th A, B, and C, the reason I like to make different classes for different section is if I go into my classroom, there's something called grades. Now, grades is a tab that I'm not covering in this session. It will come in our part 2 session, but my students' progress will be shown over here. So if I make 7th A, B, C as 3 different classes, I'll be easily be able to categorize with students, and the students will not get shuffled. So I can see section-wise progress as well. But if you are a teacher who wants to combine the class as well, that's completely fine. You can just create 7th grade and you can merge your ABC students right in this. Now, this brings me to a very interesting point that I must have missed. That is, what is the limit of the number of students that you can add on your free account? So the limit is 250 students on your free account, I think, which is pretty great for one classroom. So you can have multiple classroom with 250 students each.
Great. That was the next question, that how many students can there be? So I think you have already answered. I think one question that somebody asked is also, are there any safety concerns with Google Classroom? Like people are listening about the safety concerns with Zoom. So if you are aware about any such concerns with Google Classroom.
I think that people across the world currently are using Google Classroom. I have heard from teachers in States, teachers from Australia, and a lot of teachers as well in India who have started classes on Google Classroom. As far like at the moment, we haven't heard about any security breach. Now, there are certain things that your students will be able to do on their free Gmail account, is create their own account, own Google Classroom, and add their friends as students and all of that. But that's just something you cannot control. Once a student has an email ID, they can do anything on the open web.
Okay, great. So all the questions about recording your class in Google Class and how many students are visible on the screen, they will get addressed once Raisa talks about live classes through Google Classrooms. So I think just hold on to those questions. She will be addressing those. Yeah, I think Raisa, one thing somebody is not clear, and I think you can clarify that about the school code. From where do they get the class code, and how does that work?
Okay, that's a really good question, and a lot of teachers find that a little confusing at the beginning. So, for example, I have 2 different classes that are created. If I go into my individual class, each individual class has a unique code, which will be generated by Google Classroom itself. So, if I go into my first class, you will see the class code over here. Now, this begins with Y and ends with C. Now, if I have to go over to my other class, once again, I'll click this tab, go over to classes, open my 7th grade, and if you see, the code over here is different. So this code is generated by Google Classroom. In later half of the session, I'll show you how we can change this code as well.
All right. Raisa, also another question is, I think you have already discussed how to change the theme of your class, is it?
Yes.
So will the teachers be able to find a tutorial for that on a YouTube channel?
Yes, they will be able to. Once
Great.
again,
So
would like to remind you that the theme can only be changed through a laptop and not your mobile phone.
Okay, great. Also, Raisa, so one teacher is facing issues with the grade option. They are trying to do it on their mobile phones and they're saying that they can't see the grade option in their mobile phones. Is there anything, any way that you can help?
Let me just, I have my mobile with me in my hand. I will just open my Google Classroom to see. Okay. Yeah, they are correct in your mobile phone. So I was just going to cover that in my next section, that the mobile phone has certain features that are limiting. It has certain questions that are missing and some tabs that are missing. I think that's only because they want to it's too heavy. The application becomes too heavy for the mobile phone. So which is why you need to log into your lap through your laptop to be able to see certain features.
Okay.
But if you are using the mobile phone, it is still a really great option. I will recommend Google Classroom even on the mobile phone.
Great. So we have a couple of questions on the class code. That
Sure.
first of all, would it be the same for the same class every time?
Yes, the class code remains constant. Now, since this question is coming up multiple times, maybe I'll address the class, how to change the class code right here. So if I open one of my classes, I'll have the settings tab over here. If you can see this nut bolt icon, I'll click that. It will open up my settings for the classroom. I will simply scroll down to general settings, and here is my class code. Now I can display the class code, or I can move the display away, or I can also reset my class code. Now I cannot set my own personal code. This has to be given by Google Classroom itself. So if you think that your your class code has been shared with students from other classes, you can always from time to time reset your class code. So once you reset your class code, which I've done right now, you can see it will generate a new code. Now this code will remain constant till you do not go and change the class code again.
Great. So we also have questions around. So all the teachers were asking questions around how can they remove a class, how can they remove students, how can they duplicate content across classes. So Raisa is planning to cover those in her next segments. Raisa, so somebody asked that if they have, I think you have already addressed this, that if they have, let's say, 6 or 7 sections, is it possible to merge them in a single class?
You can simply create one classroom and add all your students to that one classroom, as long as you stick to the 250 limit of your students. So if you merge all the students of your class in one Google Classroom, then just ensure that it doesn't exceed 250. But that's completely possible. Uh, I will also show you right away how to delete a class. So I'll create a dummy class right now. Uh, so say that I accidentally created a class called XYZ, and I created, say, science class. And I realized that I don't require this class anymore. Or maybe my school year has gotten over and I don't have the need for this class anymore. So all I will need to do is go back to my classes, click these three icons, and archive my class. So this will tell you that all the class files will remain in Google Drive. So all the content that you have published on this will remain on this. That will not go away. You can always use that again. That I'll show you in the coming post. So I'll simply archive this class, and there my class is going to disappear from my tab.
All right. So the question is also that if they have to add the students again if they reset the class code.
No, so the students who have been already added remain intact. Only the class code changes, and if a new student has to enter the classroom, they will require the new code as set by the teacher. Now, if you think that you've finished joining all of your students, in your class, and there are no more students that you want to join, as a security measure, what you can do is simply go over to your setting, and you can shut the display or disable display. So when you disable this display, I'll show you what that looks like now. It's not asking me to save. So the class code will be disabled over here. So this will stop your students from sharing the class code with other students and creating a menace.
Great. So I think you have addressed the next question. That is that if do they get to choose who to admit, or do the students get just added if they have a board? So I think you have answered that. Somebody also asked that how can they send the class code over WhatsApp? So I assume if the class code is really small, so you can just type that out in the WhatsApp group and just send it.
Absolutely. You can just simply type the code out and that's it. Share it.
Great.
So whenever
So,
you enable, like you can see, I've enabled it again and it's resetted my class code. I'm so sorry, Kanvi, for interrupting. Yeah, it's resetted my code by default. And now it will be displayed again.
Great. So I think we have caught up on most of the questions, and rest of the questions are anyway going to get addressed in your next section. So you can go forward, Raisa. Thanks a lot. I'm just going to, in the chat, I'm just going to put up the links to all our Google Classroom videos. We also have tutorials in Hindi. So if you guys are more comfortable with those, please, you can check those out. If you are missing any part during this class, don't worry about it. You can go to our YouTube channel and find everything over there. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Kanvi. All right, let's go ahead with the class. Now, in this section, we are going to explore the different tabs that are available to us. Now, I'm not going to lay too much emphasis on the grades tab, which will be a part of our forthcoming session. So I'll focus mainly on these three tabs. So this is your stream tab. This is basically your homepage. If you've used Facebook, you have a homepage where all the updates come in. So this tab is just that. And you can use this tab to post any reminder or any other post that you want to post, correct? I'll show you how to post that in just a second. So this is the display. Here is where you will start seeing your posts as you keep posting them. And there's a small section called upcoming, which also we will explore a little later in this class. Now let's post our first post, and this is the most exciting part of our class, right? How do we get started with our students? So since this is my first post, I would like to put a very friendly post for my students. I'll say welcome to the academic year 2020-21. I am Miss Sharma, your science teacher. Excited to have you all. And now along with this post, I want to put a very nice image for my students to see. So if you can see, I can add any attachment of a Google Drive, a link, a YouTube video, or a file. So I'll select file to upload something from my computer. Select files from your device. I'll select the image that I have already saved previously, and I'll simply click upload. Now here my post is ready to be posted, but before I post it, there are a few options that I have. Either I can post the post immediately, or I can schedule my post to go at a later time, or I can even save my post as a draft and keep it if I want to come back and work on it later. So let me just explore those three for you. So if I save it as a draft, it will not be posted to my students. They will not be able to see it. This only the teacher can see. I'll open it up. And you can either delete it if you do not want to work on it any longer, or you can click over here and it will open the draft up for you to make any more changes. Now that is the save draft option. Now I'll show you what is the schedule option. So if you're working really late at night and you want your students to see the post in the morning and you don't want the timestamp to go as 12 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock in the night, you can simply schedule your post for another time. Right now, I will schedule it for the next minute. so that we can see what the schedule post looks like. So now you can see that it's going to be here in your saved announcements. Okay, I think I have done it for tomorrow. Let me just reschedule it. Okay, so since I've done it for tomorrow, I will have to delete this post and repost it. So I simply clicked the trash can, deleted it. I'm typing the same post all over again. This time I'll be a little more careful about the date. So May 21st, and I will select it for the next minute. Okay, it's 42 already, so it's asking me for a future date here. I think this should do. Okay, let's try 44. Okay. So now this has gone into your save announcements. What I will do is I'll show you some other features and we'll come back to it in 2 minutes to see what that looks like. Here you can see that it is scheduled for 3:44 p.m. today. Let's go over and explore another feature. Now in this post icon, in this post space, we can also see this icon, which is this double arrow icon, which says reuse post. Now we'll try to reuse the post that we have saved in another classroom. So I'll go over to my next class. So this is a really cool feature that Google Classroom gives teachers who have multiple classrooms, right? So someone was asking me if they have 3 7th grade students, the 3 sections, then how do they go about it? So you want to post the same content on all 3 sections, but you want them to have their own individual classes. All you will need to do is click reuse post, and it will open up all the classes that you have, and you can reuse posts from any of the classes that you have saved. So I'll simply open this up and I can reuse this post. And what I will do is I'll create new copies of all attachments so that it is available in my class drive in all the classes. So I will reuse. And the beautiful part about reusing it is if you want to make some small changes, you will be able to do that. So this is my 10th grade class. So I can simply make a change over here and say, welcome to 10th grade. And I will post it right away. So here you don't have to wait. Your first post has appeared on the feed over here. This is your stream tab or your home page where your first post has appeared. Now it is 44. Let's go over and check whether our scheduled post has been posted. So it is still saved in saved announcements. I think it waits for the minute to get over before it posts. So let's just wait for a second, a couple of seconds. In the meantime, you can put all your questions regarding this segment, because right after we post this post, we are going to pause for questions. So if you have questions coming up in your mind, please type them out in the chat box as we wait. I will refresh this to see if my announcement has gotten published. Okay, it has. Why is this? Okay, maybe I refreshed it a little too soon. All right, I do not know what the problem is. Let me open it up. All right, we will wait for that. I will check on that later. Let's pause for questions.
All right. Great. So, Raisa, somebody asked that if they can use a previous class as a template to create a new class.
Let me see if I can use that option over here. Yes, I can simply. So this is a very great question, and this will really help you at the end of your year, correct? So if you have a class with posts in it, you can simply copy your class for the next year and probably change the name, change the grades, etc., and simply copy. Now, what this does is that this template is copied exactly as it is on your class tab over here in your classes. Now, if I go into this, you will see that there are no posts, correct? In that 10th grade, there was the welcome post, but over here, you'll not see posts. But if you go over to your classwork, right now we haven't created a classwork. All your classwork will be there as drafts over here. So you can actually reuse your entire class without creating a new class altogether. So in the new year, in the new academic year, after you have created this beautiful classroom with a lot of classworks and notes and assignments and quizzes, you can simply reuse your class by copying your class. It creates a brand new class, but all your previous posts will be saved as draft over here, and you can post them as and when you like it.
Okay. Great. So the next question is there any limit on number of classes?
Wow, that's a question I haven't explored. As far as I know, there isn't any, but Kanvi, let's make a note of that question and we will
Yeah.
address that either on our social media handles or write back to you.
Okay. Great. So, teachers, I would also like to tell you all the questions that you have regarding assessments, quizzes, how many students can give those quizzes. She will be addressing those in her next segment. So please just hold on to all of those questions. Once she has covered that segment and you still have questions, you can just ask them in the chat box again. Raisa, is it possible for you to show the copy feature once again?
Yeah, sure. I think I went a little fast on that one. I'm just rescheduling this post in the hope that we will be able to see the post later. All right, let me just go over back to my classes tab. Now I have archived my class, which I had copied earlier. I'm simply clicking this three dots over here and copy. So this will create a copy. I can give it a brand new name. I can give it a brand new section and simply copy. And there another class will be created on our tab over here in our classes tab.
Okay, thank you. So the next question, so we have a couple of questions around during a class, how can I open a presentation? How many students can give a quiz at the same time? So I think once Raisa addresses the live classes during a Google Classroom, all of your concerns will get addressed. So I'm just going to put a pause on those questions. Raisa, also, is there an option of using whiteboard in a Google Classroom?
No, there is no option of a whiteboard here, no.
All right.
But like I said, that this is not a live class in the sense that while it is going live on the internet, your students will be able to see it only when you log into it, correct? So you do not specifically need a whiteboard. You can also use your Paint on your desktop, create some drawing, and then save it as an image, and you can add the image, which I will show you in the upcoming section.
Yes, so I think somebody also suggested that you can probably use Jamboard or any other platform for doing those
Right.
live classes. But like I would also like to reiterate that Google Classroom, I think it's often misunderstood as being a place where you can take live classes, but it's actually not. So we have had a couple of questions related to that, that can I share a presentation during a class? But since there is no live class, so it doesn't make, you can share a presentation as classwork which the students can see, but there's no point of them watching it during some certain interval of time. Is that correct, Raisa? Is there something you would like to add?
Correct. No, that's appropriate.
Great. Also, somebody asked that, do you think it will be useful for lower class students, like the primary grade students?
Okay, that's a really great question, and it all depends on how cooperative the parents of your students are. I think that beyond eighth grade, students will still be able to comprehend or understand the working of a mobile phone and the application, and will be able to do it independently or under minimum supervision by their parents. But for grades lower than that, I think that parents' supervision is going to be required really highly. You can use it if you have cooperation of your parents.
Great. So we have a few more classes. We have a few more questions on, can we record a class in Google Classroom for watch? Like I just said that there is no live class, so it doesn't make sense to record anything. No, you cannot record your class. And yes, somebody asked that if they need to add their ID first to invite them. So Raisa said that yes, the students need to have their Gmail IDs for them to be added to the class. But I think you, Raisa, you can take that forward. How
Sure.
can the students be added to a class if they need IDs?
Yeah. Sorry, Kanvi, I think I didn't get you. Can you please repeat what you said last?
Yes. So, do you, so when you add the students, do you need to have their email IDs for them to join, or is there any other way for them to connect to your class?
You can, if you have that email ID, is great. You can simply go over to the People's tab, and like I showed you how to add the IDs. Apart that, you can simply share your class code with them. 1 second. Yeah, by
Yes.
going into the Stream tab, and that's it. You just share your class code with them on WhatsApp, and they'll be able to join your classroom.
Great. Somebody also asked that if they can record their own video and put it as material on Google Classroom. So is
Absolutely. Absolutely. You will be able to record your own videos, and that's highly recommended because your students are missing you at this point because they've not had classes in a long, long time. So that is recommended to record yourself conducting a class or a lesson and put that up on the Google Classroom.
great. So we have another question: is it possible to take attendance on Google Classroom, or is it possible for us to know if the students have watched the assignment or not?
There is a possibility of taking attendance, and we will be creating a very short YouTube tutorial on how to do that. It will take up time from our other segments, so I will just pause on to that question. But once again, I would like to tell you that it's a matter of setting structures and routines with your students. If you are setting up proper structures, you will be able to not just take attendance, but like the students will be sending in their assignments, and you'll be able to see how many students have handed it on time, how many students have submitted a little late, etc. So those are some features of Google Classroom that you have.
Great. So we are gonna hold on to the rest of the questions. I think Raisa, you can take it forward from here. Thanks a lot for your patience.
Thank you. All right, let's move over to the next tab, which is the Classroom tab. Now, this is the most critical tab for you as a teacher. Here is where you're going to post all your assignments, your videos, your quizzes, your tests, your notes, etc. And I will show you question by question on how to do that. So let's get started with the first very type, that is material. Now, material is basically any reading material or notes that you want to share with your students. You can add questions to it if you like, but I'm simply going to add notes for my students to refer. I'm writing chapter 1, living organisms, and I'm simply going to add a file that I've saved before on my laptop by clicking File, select Files from your device. Now I have my classes planned already. I have my notes ready for all my chapters. So I'm simply going to select that and upload. Once I upload, it will upload as an attachment to my post. And I can choose over here whether I want to post it to all my classes or some of my classes. So that question about, hey, if I have 7th ABC, should I be creating separate classes? Even if you do create separate classes, you can just simply select all the 7th classes over here and post it. So it will appear in all the stream tab of all 3 of your classes. Now I want to post it only for 7th A, so I clicked only that. I'll show how to post it to all once again. This is all, and this is just one class. And if I want to select how many students I want to post it to, now I don't want all my students to be able to view the notes just as yet, and I want a particular group to do it. I can simply do it by clicking the students over here. But since we don't have students currently, I will show this feature in our next class with the advanced feature. All right, so I'm simply gonna post it. You can write a description if you like. I'll show you that once you've posted your post, how it appears. This appears on your classwork tab over here, and it also appears on your stream tab right here. You see your first classwork is right here. Now I'm going to go over back to my classwork tab and show you how to edit it if I've posted something and I want to make changes. I've clicked these 3 dots here and edit. And I can please read this before our next class and simply save. All right, so that is our first post, which is our notes. Now I will show you how to add a video assignment. Now this is pretty interesting. I'll go over to, so we already explored material. Let's look at what assignment looks like. I can go and say video assignment, and I can number it. I'm giving it number 1. And I can write my instructions. Please watch the video and answer questions given to you. Now this is a really cool feature that I would like to show, that you can simply add your videos directly from your Google Classroom. You do not need to open another tab to search for your YouTube videos. I can simply search for my YouTube videos here. Living organisms for 7th grade. I will search it, and it'll give me a list of videos just as it would give me on YouTube. You can also play them. Okay, I will not be able to play them. So if you want to check them out on YouTube before and then post it over here. Now, if you have a YouTube link that you've already discovered while you were on YouTube, you can simply paste the link over here by right clicking and clicking paste, and you'll be able to see your video over here. Now I am selecting just one video from here again. And I want to choose this 13-minute video, and I'll simply add. So you will see it will add as an attachment over here. Now, I also want to add a few questions to this. So I will create. Now you can create a Google presentation or with using slides or a document or sheets, drawings or a form. I will create a Google document. Now what this will do is it'll open Google document for me. Now, if you want to learn how to use Google Documents, we have created videos on it on our YouTube channels. You can go over to that. Here, I'll simply change it to video assignment number 1. And I can add my questions. What are the features of different kingdoms? I'll leave some space for my students to type the answer and write my second question, that is, state the number of kingdoms. Now this is getting auto saved. If you can see, it is getting auto saved, so you don't have to save it separately. Once you have finished working on this document, I'll simply close the tab and it will attach the document in my assignment over here. Now, this is a little important. You may want to focus how you want the students to view this document. So if you want your students to only view this document and not make changes to this document, you will select this option, that is students can view file. Over here, what you can do is you can ask your students to write the answers in their notebooks, click pictures and send them back to you on the Google Classroom for grading. Or you can simply do students can edit file. Now you have only one student in your class, then this works pretty okay, where the student will open this file and simply type the answers in the same sheet. Now, if you have many students, this will not work out for you. So you can say, make a copy for each student. So what will happen is this will go as a new file for each of your students. So your students will be able to make changes in their respective documents, and that will come to you for grading. And now I want to give it some score or some marks or points. So since there were two questions, I will like to give 5 marks to each and score it 10. And I can also assign a due date if I want the assignment to be completed on a specific time. That is, say, Monday, and I can put the time as optional, 6 o'clock, if I like. And I will simply assign. That is my post number 2 that has gone on classwork. Now, it is not necessary that you use the assignment option for a video assignment. You can use the assignment option for anything that you like. You can add a reading material, or you can add a link to a website which has an interesting article, and you can put the questions down here as well. So you can use the assignment the way you like it, as you prefer. Now let's go over to the next one, that is an assignment quiz. Now, what is an assignment quiz and how is it different from an assignment? When you open an assignment quiz, it automatically creates a blank Google form. Over here, I'm going to name it end of chapter 1 test. And if I have a particular score in mind, that if this test is for 25 marks, I will simply put the points here and I will click the blank form to create my quiz. Now, this is a quiz assignment, and how is this different from a regular Google form is that this will be auto graded. Now, whenever I'm working with Google Documents, the first thing that I need to do is change the name. So I'm simply going to write end of chapter 1 test. I'll copy that name and I'll put it here. I can give instructions over here that all questions are compulsory. And here I can simply start putting in my questions. Are human beings considered as living organisms? And I can add my option by clicking here, that is true, another option false. Now this is a quiz type of a form where you have to select the correct answer. Now I'm going to make this a required question so that my students will not be able to submit this without answering this question. And I'll just say true. I'll click answer key and it'll ask me which is the correct answer. I'll simply say true. And I will add points to this, that is 1 point. Once I'm done adding all of my questions over here for worth 25 points, you'll be able to see the total points right on top. You will have finished creating the quiz. Now there are multiple type of questions that you can add in this. If you want to go over through how to use Google Forms, once again, you can go over to our YouTube channel for the tutorials. I have created my quiz and I'll simply close this tab. Please try to solve this honestly and work hard. Good luck. Since many students are new to online platforms, there is a chance that they will be discussing answers with each other. So I would like to write that. Once again, I want my students to finish this before a particular date and time, that is before tomorrow end of day. So tomorrow, and my end of day is 6 o'clock. So I'll just simply post it at 6 o'clock. What will happen is, if there are some students who are posting or completing this assignment after 6 o'clock tomorrow, you will get a notification saying the student has submitted their assignment or their test late. and I'm simply going to assign. One feature that I missed out that I would like to show you. So I'll open this up again and I will edit it, is the rubrics feature. Now this feature I'm not going to get much into because we will cover this as a part of the next session whenever we have that. This is basically a scoring that we can assign to our assignments. Currently I don't have anything, so I'm going to discard and save. So here it is, another post on my classwork. So we have one notes, one video assignment, and one end of chapter test. Now over here, you can see turned in. So you will be able to see out of your 30 students, how many have actually turned in. So over here assigned, if you have assigned it to 30 students, it will show 30 and how many of them have turned the assignment in. All right, how do we access this is simply clicking each of these, right? That's how you get access to them. So when you click them, it opens up more information about that post. This also reflects in your stream tab, one below the other. All right, let's go over to the classroom and let me show you the last question type, that is question. And you can use this question type for a lot of discussion. You can also use this for differentiating your classroom. You can create groups and assign specific questions to specific students. But now I want all my students to see this. So I will simply say, please share your doubts for this chapter. What this will do is it will open up an answering segment for our students. I'm keeping it as a short answer. And I'm not grading this because I simply want my students to post all the questions that they have. Now, here is an important setting that you need to look at. Students can reply to each other, students can edit their answers. Now, I would like to keep this switched off because this would lead to unnecessary students commenting on each other's posts. So I will simply keep that option off. And if this was an assignment or a question, then I would have checked this box. I would have not checked this box, that is students can edit the answer. That means once they have submitted the answer, they will not be able to change it once again. But I want my students to keep asking questions over and over again as and when they come up with questions. So I will select this, that is students can edit their answer. That means they can come and change what they have written anytime. And I'll simply ask. Now my question has appeared here. It also appears on my stream tab. Your classwork is something that your students will be able to see. The stream is something that your students will be able to see as well. So they can look at your assignments from any of the two. Now, the last over here is reuse post, which I have shown before, but I can show that to you once again very briefly. If I have to reuse posts, all of my classes will open up. And if I have to reuse posts from a specific class, then I'll open up the classroom. I'll see all the posts of that class. I'll simply say end of chapter test. I want to reuse this. Once I click reuse, it will allow me to edit it. So I will just edit this end of chapter 2 test. And once again, I will assign it. And there it is so easy to recreate the same post without having to change a lot inside. All right, we will pause for questions now.
Right. Great. So I think somebody also asked that the students want to share, if I want my students to share some kind of a video or a link to something, what can I do about that?
So you can simply go over to your classwork, create a material and or a question over here. Actually, a question would be preferred. You can ask, please share the links to your work. So if you want them to search a particular website or an article and you want them to share that, you can simply ask them to do that over here. And you can create a short answer for this, or you can ask them to paste it in a document. You can create a document over here. Once this document is created, you can simply put the instruction over here. Please paste your links below. I change it to uh, any name that I prefer over here. Once I close it, it gets saved automatically. It will reflect over here. And so once you have created this, your students will be able to open this document. You can give them editing access. Your students will be able to edit this document and paste their links below. Or you can open up a question tab, like they will have a segment where they can answer. They can simply paste their links over there, and you can grade it or ungrade it and ask.
All right, great. So some people have questions around that if they want to share videos which they have on their laptop, either they have downloaded them from somewhere
Right,
or they have created them somewhere, but they are
right.
not YouTube videos. How can they
Okay.
share those with their student assignment?
That is very, very simple as well. So I will simply create anything, say an assignment or a material or anything. I will add an attachment and I'll go over to file. When I go over to file, it'll open my device and it will show me all the files that are available on my device. So if I have a video, which I don't currently, it will appear over here and I'll simply select it from here, open it and upload.
All right, great. So also the next question is about, is it possible to assign group work over here?
Correct. So if you recall, one of the question type is questions, correct? So now if I go over to my student tab over here, I can pose different questions for different groups. Okay, so in a topic, if I have many subtopics and I want to give different subtopics to different students, so I can just simply write discuss animal kingdom to one of my student groups and select only the students from those student groups and post. So only those student groups will be able to engage in discussion. At that point, if you want the students to discuss, please keep this option open that students can reply to each other so they can have a healthy discussion over there. So this way you can keep posting for all your groups.
All right. So we have another question, that is it possible to reuse a post from one class to another class?
Absolutely. It is possible to do that. So right now, if you have seen that my other classes do not have any posts, so I'll go over to my 10th grade and I can go to my classwork. Either I can reuse from here, create reuse post, or in my streams tab, I have the reuse option over here as well. Let me show you how to do it from the classwork. I'll reuse my post over here. Now it will show me it's automatically opening this because this is my last open class, right? But I can go back and I have all of my classes and I can post anything from any of my classes. I can reuse it. So I'll just simply click Miss Sharma's because that's where we have posted everything. Say that this is a note I would like to share. The incredible thing about Google Classroom is I can always change my instructions, my heading, I can change my attachments and simply post it.
All right. Great. So this brings us to the end of our questions. So this one question that has been coming up is about the student's point of view. So if Raisa, you can share that if you plan to cover it in this session, or is it going to come up in the next classes? If you can just tell everyone about that.
All right, so this is a question that we have been getting a lot, and we are organizing another session where you will be able to see how the students view Google Classroom. Right now, I have not added any students to my class. That's why you will not be able to see the students tab. This class was just the basics to get our teachers onto Google Classroom. We will do an in-depth session in the following weeks.
All right. Just the last question: is it possible to reuse posts from archived classrooms?
Absolutely. So if you see currently my classes, I have only 2 active classes. Rest of my classes are archived. So if I want to reuse a post, it shows all of, if right now it's open 7th A because that's the last use. I'll go back and it shows all my classes. And if you see in brackets, it's written archive. So I can reuse posts from any of my class.
All right. Great. So I think we have caught up on all our questions so far. I think Raisa, you can take it forward.
All right, I just would like to remind you that the session was to be ended at 4:30, but we may have a spillover since a lot of great questions have been coming up. So please hang on to the session till the end. All right, now I'm going to show you something that a lot of our teachers need, right? That is, now you can see there are so many posts, but that is just right now. We've just got started. But as the year goes on, we're going to have so many posts, and they all are going to come in a line, one below the other, and it's going to be a little messy. So how do I organize my classwork and make it look a little better for me as well as my students? So I'm going to create topics over here. So now what topics is going to do is topics is going to help us categorize our posts. So if I select topic, I can choose any topic that I like. So I can create lesson by lesson topics, or I can create unit wise topics. I like to create it unit wise so that all the lessons of one unit will be present in that. So I'm making unit 1 and I'm adding this topic. I'll also create, it's giving me help text over here. I'm just simply going to close that right now. When you sign into Google Classroom for the first time, Google is going to try and help you out a lot. So you can remember the things you've learned in this class as well as take Google's help a little bit. All right, I'll create another topic, say Unit 2, and I will add that here. And what I need to do is I will simply drag it to my respective units to organize my work, right? I'll simply drag it. Now, if dragging is too cumbersome, then there is another way to do it. And you can do it right at the beginning when you have started Google Classroom, correct? You can simply go to edit. And over here, you will always find topic. Now, if you go over to topic, where does this belong? It belongs to unit 1. So I'll just save it. Once I've done that, it automatically moves to unit 1. So I recommend whenever you're starting your Google Classroom to by default organize this in this fashion so that you won't have to keep dragging it. Because once the posts are a lot, then it will get very difficult to keep dragging all your posts. Now this belongs to chapter 2 belongs to unit 2. Let's just assume that for now and I'll keep that here. Now, one pro tip that I would like to give you is that your classwork, the way you arrange your classwork is the way your students will be able to see your classwork, correct? So I want my students to always be able to come over to notes, right? The class notes that I share with them. So I'm going to create another topic called notes, and I will add that. And I can add all of my notes in that. So this is my note. So I will add my notes over here. And we can always rearrange these by dragging them. I'm left holding and I'm dragging them. I can put them in any order I like, but I like to keep my notes right on top. So when my students come in, they see chapter 1 notes, they can open it up quickly, read it up before the class and start. So yeah, that's just a recommendation that I have. And yeah, I will show you how to create a new post and put it in a specific topic as well. So chapter 2, plants. I will add a file in this, an attachment for my device. So I have all of my chapters ready with me. I have all of my notes, my assignments ready with me. So when you're using, oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot to add the topic while talking. So I'm simply going to go over it again, edit. I want to place this in notes. So I'm going to go over to notes and I'm going to save it. All right, as I was saying that I have all of my notes, my assignments ready. So like you go to your classroom before any class, you do your preparations, correct? You create a lesson plan. So you have what notes you're going to give your students, what worksheets you're going to give your students. So similarly, you have to do all of that planning a day prior, and then you can schedule your posts or you can post them live and your students will be able to access it when you want them to access it. All right, I think I am done with this. I'm simply just going to show you one more small feature that is on the stream tabs. All of my posts appear over here, right? And now let me show you the upcoming tab. So earlier when we were talking about uh, the upcoming tab, we did not see anything over here because we didn't have anything due. But over here now, if you open this, you will be able to see all the assignments or all the work that is pending for turning in by your students. So over here, no due dates attached to these, and these are work in progress. That means there is a specific due date to it, and they need to come in by this time. Again, you'll be able to see how many students you've assigned it to. So if you've assigned it to only 5 students from your classroom, you'll be able to see the total assigned over here. And over here, you'll be able to see how many of those have turned in on time, or if it's a late submission, you'll be able to see that here as well. So I'm going to go over back to my classes, and we are going to break for questions once again before I show you some more interesting features.
Great. So Raisa, we actually do not have any questions at this point. I think we have covered almost all of them so far. So I think you can go forward.
Great. So I'll quickly stream through certain tabs that we have over here. A very quick walk through them. I'm not going to get into them in detail because, like I said, we're going to do an in-depth session for an advanced classroom. That is, how do we review assignments? How do we grade assignments? How do we create rubrics, etc. So I'm simply going to show you some more features that you can use. So if you go over to these 3 lines on the top left corner, you will see a few things that are here. One is your archive classes, where you will be able to see all the classes that you have archived before. Now, there's no option of deleting a class because Google Classroom lets you save your classes, so that if you want to reuse any post from any classroom, you will be able to simply do that from your archive classes. Now, you have a general settings option over here, which when you open, you'll be able to see a lot of settings such as your notifications, your comments, etc. If you want to be notified when your students submit late, etc. I request you to explore this tab on your own and write to us if you have any questions with regards to that. So now the two main features that I would like to show you in this segment is the to-do as well as the calendar. Now, this to-do is basically your genie as a teacher. What it tells you is all the work that you need to grade or check, or if you want to see how many students have turned in their assignments or not, your to-do will be able to show you a list of that. Now, you can check your to-do for all your classes like it has shown over here, or I can choose a specific class. So if I want to choose my 10th grade class, I will just go over to my 10th grade class. It says no work to review, lucky you. Well, teachers are not that lucky because there's always something to review, I'm sure. So I'm going to go over to my other class where I have assigned a lot of work for my students, and I will just simply open any one of them and start reviewing my work and grading them, right? Like how many points have they uh, secured in the test. Now, since I don't have students, unfortunately, I will not be able to show you how to review the work in this segment or in this session. Please stay tuned on our website, on our social media handles to know when we are conducting the next advanced class. Also, once you open a particular work that is an assignment, you also can go over to the instructions, and you can keep sending reminders or class comments like reminder to submit this soon. So you can simply keep posting your reminders over here, and your students will be able to see them as well. Now I'm going to go back to my to-do once again, and here all of my work in progress as well as my reviewed work. So over here there is two reviewed and another tab which is reviewed. So once I finish reviewing or grading my work, all of that will appear over here, which I'm hoping you will be able to see in the next session. Now let's go over to the calendar very quickly. Now this calendar basically does not, you cannot add things from the calendar, but it gives you a very beautiful view of what all assignments have been assigned to your students and when are they due, right? So over here, let me just go and create a dummy assignment for this class as well for 23rd. I'll just reuse a post just so that I can show you what it looks like on the calendar. So since I don't want to reuse any post from the stream tab, and rather I want to reuse something from my classwork, I'll go to classwork and I'll reuse a post. Okay, end of chapter 1, reuse. I will assign a due date, say 23rd, and the time. I like to keep the end of day. Yeah, and I'll simply assign it. I'm just doing this so that I could show you what this looks like on the calendar. I go over back to my calendar, and now you will be able to see everything that is due for all my classes in this week, right? And if I go over to my next week, I simply have to click this over here forward and backward when I want to go back. So over here, you can see here is where it's important to have different themes for your class so that it will color code it differently, right? And if I want to check a specific class, I can simply just open 10th grade and I'll be able to see what is coming up. Or I can open 7th grade and see what's coming up. Or I can simply choose all classes to see what all I will have to check by the end of this week. And my Sunday looks pretty packed as of now. All right, one last bit that we are going to go through is the settings tab. Now you saw a general settings tab over here, but you have a class settings specifically for your classroom as well. So I'll go over to this nut and bolt, which I showed you earlier as well. And this is where I can change my class name or the section or my subject, reset my code, and I can also choose how my posts look onto the stream tab, right? So I'm here, classwork on stream tab. Right now, it is showing me condensed notification. That means it is basically making my notifications smaller. And I don't want that. I want my students to be able to see the larger post, that is all the details, instructions, and attachments so that they do not miss anything. So I'm simply changing this right here and save. You can go over to the settings tab on your own, explore it. If you have questions, you may ask us. Now I'll show you how that has changed uh, things for us. So earlier when we saw our streams tab, you saw that the posts were very, very thin. Only the main points were being highlighted over here. But now since I have made it a wider post, you will be able to see all the attachments that come with this, correct? And this is mainly important because if you see over here, I have a video assignment with 2 attachments. Now my students may miss one of them and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to keep these icons really large. All right, now I'll just quickly explain to you some differences between the Google Education Suite versus this Gmail account. Now, unfortunately, the free version of the Gmail account has one feature that has been removed from it, that is the Google Meet Live.
Raisa, sorry to interrupt you. Very sorry to interrupt you. I would just like to tell everyone that we have also launched the poll. So if you guys are short on time and would like to, if you are not available for the next 10-15 minutes, please feel free to just attempt that poll and give us any kind of feedback that you have. Thank you. Raisa, we will move forward.
Thank you so much. I would like to bring your attention back to the polls before I get into the next brief note. Please do share your thoughts on this poll. It will help us make our sessions better. It will also give us clarity on how much our participants have taken away from this session. So thank you so much. Keep yourself engaged in the polling. And let me just start with the difference between the two again. All right. So I was talking about the difference between the Google Education Suite as well as the free account. Now, the one key feature that is missing in the free account is the Google Meet Live. Now, if you have Google for Education, you will have a link of the Google Meet Live right here below your class code. So you will be able to go live with your students at any point in time. But since this is a free account, you will not be able to use that feature. But I have a solution for that. I also, you can use a Zoom meeting or any other platform that you're comfortable with, right? Google Meet, and you can simply share the meeting link over here with your students, or you can go to your classwork. You can create say a material. You can ask them, like, you can just grade this as link to your next class. You can put your timings and your date, that is 23rd May 2020 at 3 p.m. And you can simply attach the link over here to your Zoom call or your Google Meet, and you can add it. Let me just see if I can get a link. Mm. Okay, I don't have a link available with me right now, but that doesn't matter. Whenever you have a link with you, simply paste that link over there and then post it. I'm going to discard this one. So that's all from Google Classroom Basics. Yes, we can open it up for question. Our session is done. We can take questions from all segments now.
Great. So thanks a lot for that session, Raisa. I think we did see a very healthy engagement in the chat box. I would again like to remind everyone that please attempt that poll. It is very valuable for us to see your responses, and it serves as a very good data point for us because we also get to know where we need to improve. So please give responses on the poll. I would also like to urge you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm going to paste the link in the chat window, and I think it would be very helpful if you could just subscribe to our channel. You can find a lot of videos over there, a lot of tutorials. We constantly update it, and we have also put up tutorials for Google Classroom, especially over there. So please subscribe to our channel, and you'll get notifications regularly on that. As of now, Raisa, we do not have any questions. We can stay over here for the next couple of minutes, and if you guys have any questions, you can let us know. So Raisa, another one question that has come up is that if the teacher wants to grade students on an assignment, but do not want the students to know the grade, is that possible?
That is a great question, and I will not be able to show that unfortunately right now because I don't have the students on my tab. So yes, please stay tuned to our next session. We will be able to show that in our next session.
Great. And also, I would like to tell you guys that we will be having Google Classroom sessions going forward as well. We do post all our upcoming dates on our social media handles. So please go and check out our social media handles for all our upcoming events.